Live. Awesome. Good timing, Matt. All right, and we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Solana Community Town Hall. We have about 350 people in here right now, and we expect a couple hundred more to drip in throughout the event. We're expecting this to take about an hour. It's going to be really loose and free-form, so just hang out. As some folks have already noticed, we have like a chat section off to the right. Feel free to drop comments and anything in there during it. And then there's a questions tab beside that where you can post any questions you have for speakers during the event. We're going to have an open Q&A for the last 10 or 15 minutes where chat is going off. Wow. Where you can ask questions for any of the speakers during the event, and we'll take some time to answer the top-rated questions. Upvote any questions that you like in particular, and we'll kind of sort by the questions with the most upvotes, and we'll go from there. So I think to kick this off, we're going to have Anatoly, the co-founder and CEO, just give a quick few opening remarks, and then we're going to jump into a community and engineering update. So take it away, Toly. And you can mute the sound notifications, guys, in the top. There's the mute bar.
Hey, folks. I'm Anatoly, so awesome to be here. We launched about a year ago with like a very, very small community. There were like about 40 validators, and that was really the core in us building this thing. And over the last year, I think everything 100x in terms of the number of people that are involved, the number of builders working in the project, the validators, the tech has gotten way better too. So it's just been awesome to see. Really grateful for everyone that's joined to be part of this community and enable like all these amazing builders and work with them as we grow the ecosystem. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Toly. I think real quick, since a lot of folks here may have not heard before we kind of jump into the updates, do you want to give the quick 1 or 2 minute founding story of Solana, how you came up with proof of history, kind of the revolutionary technology that allows us to be so efficient, and just how everything started?
Yeah, for folks that haven't listened to any of the podcasts or heard me talk about this before, my background is engineering. So I spent most of my career working on operating systems at Qualcomm, working in wireless networks with wireless protocols and things like that. And I've been optimizing things all my life, basically. So this just kind of something how I always think about a problem in engineering is how I can make it faster. So proof of history was one of those eureka moments where kind of came around accidentally. I had 2 coffees and a beer, or 2 beers and a coffee, I don't remember what, but I was up till 4 a.m. Because I couldn't sleep, and I started kind of like just thinking about problems and consensus and how all this stuff works and how it comes together. I had this realization that you can use a similar technique to proof of work, but instead of measuring electricity, how Bitcoin measures for security, you can measure passage of time. And while it doesn't provide you security, what it does is it allows you to take all the stuff that I worked on, over a decade in wireless networks at Qualcomm, to be applied in these permissionless open networks. So we can make these things as fast as, a database running in AWS. And if we can do that, it means we can bring cryptography to everybody in the world. And once you do that, I think the world will change dramatically for the good. Like if we have 1 billion people that are all empowered with cryptography, it'll kind of give us a new sense of power, globally. That's not bound by geographic distribution or where you live or who you talk to or what language you speak. So I'm pretty excited about the next world that we're building.
Awesome. Thanks, Anatoly. And yeah, the mainnet beta has been up for just over a year now. And the project's only been around for what, 3 years at this point?
Yeah.
So things have been moving fast. Yep. I appreciate that. So yeah, thanks, Anatoly. And I think from here, we're just going to jump into a quick engineering update and a quick community update. B, would you like to go first with just like a few quick things on the engineering side you're excited for, why I try and track down Aleftina?
Yeah, sure, totally. Happy to be here. So I will mostly talk about reference implementations and what's happening in Solana program library. This is the place where you can go and look what we implemented over like last year. Check out the automated market makers implementation, how the tokens on Solana work. There's a token program that works like ERC20 equivalent. And a few other ones that are really exciting. But for people that have been with Solana, especially during the hackathons, we build on top of that and added a bunch of other programs that you should be able to use and be excited about them. One of them that I'm fairly excited about that has been in the works for quite some time is the lending protocol. One of the engineers over like March has been working quite hard to add cross-collateral support. So you will be able to effectively leverage that reference implementation and try to deploy your own lending protocol with cross-collateral. The other one that's, for me personally, super exciting is the governance. So we have been building governance that will allow you to launch your own governance proposals for your own tokens, as well as like build DAO around it, where if you're a builder, it will speed up the process of your product to market. A few other ones that are interesting. For past couple of weeks, we have been working on a metadata program that will allow you to effectively implement on top of the token descriptions similar to ERC 721 and 1155. It's super exciting, especially if you're thinking of building like NFTs on Solana. So go check out the PRs that we have there. And one that's still in the works, but if you want to comment, we have the proposal for interest-bearing tokens, or that's in main Solana repository. You can go and check the proposal and comment on it. Would love to hear your feedback. And we should start building that relatively soon. So thanks.
Awesome, thanks, B. And for anyone who's curious about starting to build on Solana or getting more information or resource about if they want to deploy an application on us, where would you direct them, or what advice do you have there?
Sure. So the best place to ask questions is always Discord. All the engineering teams are hanging out there. And look at the Solana repository. So Solana program library is the repository where we have all the reference implementations and equivalent of OpenZeppelin. For building the front-end applications, there is a bunch of repositories that you can look at, like OysterSwap and Oyster Lending, that show you effectively full end-to-end workflow, like how to build a wallet that connects to your DApp, and how to communicate with the smart contracts through the RPC that we have. And I'm also happy to talk with the teams that have more in-depth questions, especially around DeFi projects, which I'm always excited about.
Awesome, thanks. We posted the link in the chat section, but you can find our Discord at solana.com/discord. And then on the left-hand side, there's a few dozen different groups that you can kind of jump into, depending on your preference of topic. And we do have a few language-specific groups as well on Discord. I see a few folks mentioning that this is only English only for the time being. But if you go on our Telegram, we have about 12 language-specific Telegram groups where most of this conversation will be translated. And so if English is not your native language or you're having trouble keeping up in that sense, just visit us at t.me/Solana. And in the pinned message, we have direct links to all of our regional and language-specific Telegram groups. So I think with this, Aleftina, I would like to pass it over to you. And would you just like to give a quick update on all the exciting things going on in the Solana community?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. My name is Aleftina, and I help Solana with some regional development and as well as the community growth. And as you are all are part of our big community, I wanted to give you like a little update on how it's doing lately. We have grown not only in our ecosystem, which we'll discuss in more details a little bit later, but we have seen an active growth in our community members, especially in the last month. Our Reddit followers gained a couple of thousands within like literally a few weeks, maybe a couple of weeks. Our Twitter broke 150K. Several regional communities have doubled and they've all tripled in sizes. So we have over 45 community managers now helping us. And every week we have a few events going on in our regional groups and channels, all kinds of, from some fun memes, contests to the really cool education webinars. And also we share all our latest ecosystem updates in local languages in these communities. So all of you can stay up to date in your comfortable language. It includes adopting some technical documents and content too. From the most recent ones, we've translated our full docs document in several languages, which we hope will be helpful for developers who just start a Solana journey, what Bartosz just mentioned. So make sure to follow our social accounts of Solana in your specific region. Overall, Solana community is over like 3 million people now, and we are excited about it. So we have seen a lot of interest from new members and new projects joining ecosystem, and that's why we invited a few of them to our call today. If you personally are willing to contribute to Solana ecosystem, I would prefer to remind you about the Solana Collective, which is in our ambassador program. There is almost 600 active people in there now. So if you would like to help with translations, design, online and offline events, some UX or dev stuff, it's definitely a place to check out. Besides, we also do some exclusive events there too. So definitely make sure to check this program out if that's something that resonates your soul.
Awesome. Thanks, Albertina. Yeah, Albertina has been, hold on, there's a little bit of echo. Let me mute you real quick. Okay. Albertina has been one of the masterminds that's been helping the Solana community grow at such a rapid pace over the past couple of weeks and months. So all of the amazing events, contests, I know we've seen Solana swag popping up all over Twitter the past couple of weeks. A lot of this is because of her. And so really excited for everything that's going on. The common saying is that a crypto project is half development and half community. And we truly believe that we have one of the best communities in all of crypto. And y'all continue to show out time after time. And we're really grateful for all the effort and support that you have all provided throughout these times. I saw a few comments that people wanted some folks to introduce themselves. So I guess if you're just now jumping in, I'm going to start from my bottom up. We have Albertina, who helps with community and marketing. We have Matt in the Yankees hat, who does marketing and growth. We have B on the engineering team, who is developing all of the amazing products on Solana. And then we have Anatoly, who is Solana. He is founder and CEO and creator of Proof of History. And then I'm Austin, marketing community side as well. And I think right on time, 8:15, Matt, who has been helping run all of our hackathons, is just going to give a quick update on all the exciting things happening on that front.
Yeah, hey everyone. It's great to see so many people in the chat. I think there's over 500 now, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm just going to give a little bit of an overview of what our plans are and kind of a recap of our hackathon program. So when mainnet beta launched about a year ago, to get an application built on Solana, you almost for sure had to talk to the engineers that built the protocol. It was really, really difficult to get something off the ground. But some people, kind of like as Anatoly said, ate glass and did it, which was awesome to see. And I think that was like an important proof point that there was demand for this. And over time, like the engineering team and the community have done like an amazing job building out the tooling and documentation and everything you need to kind of get started building quickly. And so we decided that about 6 months ago that maybe we can run like a hackathon and see if people could build something within like a 2-week time frame. And we didn't have a lot of expectations going into it, but we were happily surprised that it was possible. That over 1,000 people joined the hackathon. We had about 50 project submissions, and a couple of those actually decided to continue building on Solana after the event. But again, like there was a lot of hand holding, a lot of people needing to talk to us and get one-on-one help to actually launch their apps and tools and infrastructure on Solana. So we kind of regrouped after that event. We figured out kind of what were the pain points of building on Solana, and what education could we provide for future ones, so that it just makes it easier for everyone to build. And so recently we held a DeFi hackathon globally, and that's where I think we just started to see an explosion of success. So we had over 3,000 registrations, 100 project submissions. Probably over 10 of those teams have been just continuing to build and are, have raised money from VCs. And probably the next 25 that even didn't win are also continuing to build. And many of these teams never actually talk to us. Like, they just, self-serve, use all the great documentation and tools that, again, the community and engineering teams have created over the last year to two. And we've seen this kind of momentum take hold after the hackathon has ended. Like, there's teams popping up all the time now that we just had no idea about, that have been building without talking to us and launching their projects, and many of them are really, really quality. So I think we're seeing the beginnings of a really, really strong ecosystem being made, and we just want to make sure that that we're also running more hackathons to help people along the way and give people prizes and the incentives that they need to kind of start building and dipping their toes in, just to learn about the protocol and what we're building here. So looking forward, we are definitely planning on running more hackathons, and we'd love for all of you, even non-engineerings, like we need plenty of business marketing folks to join teams and help out in any way. So we're going to be running another really large event, bigger and better than the last time. And we'll give out more details near the end of the month on what that's going to be. But it's really exciting, and it's definitely going to be global. And we'd love for everyone here to get involved. So stay tuned, and we'll be posting updates on Twitter and Blockfolio, Signal, and our Discord. So yeah, also, if you have questions about anything, just make sure to put it in the questions tab on the right, and we can answer it later on.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. So we're about to pull up our first guest speaker here, who is Alpharay, founder of Raydium. I think while we're waiting for him to jump on stage, I would love to hear just from Anatoly, BL, Tina, Matt, what were some of your favorite projects that came out of the hackathon thus far, and kind of what made you so excited about them?
The first hackathon, I really loved Soul Survivor, because it was kind of like a silly live action game where you had like characters fighting each other, Street Fighter style, but everything was on chain. It was just such a ridiculous idea to build that it was just awesome. And I'd love to see kind of like V2 of that. In the DeFi hackathon, a lot of the projects that won, I thought were kind of fantastic. Like the last place in the second DeFi hackathon could have won the first hackathon completely. And a lot of those folks actually tried to build something in the first hackathon, figured out how the system works, and were able to build like much better products the second time around. So that to me was really exciting. I was blown away by Cope, because it was it's always like easy to underestimate communities, and when they come together and accomplish something, I think that's just kind of magical. Like, it's just a little bit of tech, but a lot of community is like I think what ultimately crypto and this space is all about. It should be more about the people and bringing them together. But shout out to like all the awesome folks. Mango Markets, just mind blowing. Psi Options, also mind blowing. Where like how do you build margin and options in 2 weeks? Like, it's pretty crazy.
I agree with everything Anatoly just said, and yeah, the teams in both hackathons were great, especially the last one. I think one that I thought had a really good story was this one called Synthetify, which is similar to Synthetics if you're familiar with it on Ethereum. And this guy, created it within 2 weeks while studying for finals at university. And it worked great. Like it works, and he's going to continue working on it, and he's connected with the right people and growing a team. And, I think he'll also have some exciting updates on a full launch soon. But yeah, Synthetify is one of my favorites. And it just showed that, like, if you're the right developer and you have the right idea, you can build something even while you're in school, even when you have other responsibilities, and still get something out. And then, once you've kind of dipped your toes in and seen kind of like what you can possibly do with Solana, I mean, I think he's convinced he just wants to build full time. So I think that's exactly like the story that we want to see going forward.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think the amount of quality projects that have come out of this is just monumental and far exceed our expectations. And so thank you to everyone, even if you didn't win, who submitted a project. I think after the hackathon, either Matt, myself, or Alaptina was in contact with you, and we were just so impressed with the caliber that's come out of this. So we're looking forward to many more. And I think we just pulled up Alfred on stage. Can you hear us? I know there was a little bit of technical difficulties just now. Maybe there's still technical difficulties. I can't hear. Can y'all hear anything? No? Okay, we'll give him a second. He's on stage though. So we have Alfred, who is the founder of Raydium, who's going to be giving a quick update on everything that's going on in the Raydium world once we get his mic unmuted. So we'll get that figured out real quick, and then we'll move forward from there. Let me see if we can get this going. I think while we wait for him to do that, I'm gonna just touch base on a few of the questions here and have them ordered by upvotes, and let's see if we can cover a few of those. Oh, and he'll be back. The very top upvoted question: is there another hackathon planned?
Yeah, I can take that one. For sure. The short answer, yes. And we're planning to make some announcements near the end of the month is the goal. But, we've seen just a lot of success with these things. So we're going to be running them consistently throughout the year. We'd love to get the community more involved with the administration and promotion and, involvement, because, at the end of the day, like, there's only so much like the Solana team can do, and so many hackathons we can run. But if we can get the community more involved with helping with these events, like we can be running many more throughout the year. And so, if any of you want to reach out to me on Twitter, DM, they're open to get involved with this upcoming one or future ones, please do so. But yeah, end of the month is probably going to be the next one.
Perfect. And then let's cover one more. Welcome up, Neil. We're doing a quick pivot here. Let's cover one more question before we jump into this. This is a great question, and Anatole, I see you've already started to cover it, but how can the community help make Solana more decentralized? What are the easiest things you can do? Just directly get involved and help in the decentralization and censorship resistance of the network. Anatole?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to get involved. Not everyone can run a validator, so making those docs easier and kind of simpler, and like actually just educating people, like this is what is necessary to go build these boxes, to figure out where to deploy it and how to run it and maintain it. That would be awesome. So just more guides on how to do it and more ways for people to get involved. But I want to make sure that our goal is never quantity, it's quality. Like the core part of the network, the validator set, that's really the heartbeat of it. And it's really much more important for us to get one amazing validator than 10 not so amazing ones. So for us, we've always focused on not making it so easy that anyone can do it. That's never been the focus. It's been, let's educate people and help them understand what the technology does and how to make it work. So that's really the core part, and the foundation and the focus for grants has always been on censorship resistance. The first part of it is growing the validator set. The second part of it will be redistributing the stakes across a much larger validator set than it is today. And we have done a bunch of work with stake pools to make that really easy for folks to use. And then educating people, why is this important? Why do you even care about censorship resistance? Like, what is the difference between, a censorship resistant network and one that, runs by a major exchange on AWS? So helping people understand that is really critical.
Yep. That, and then another super easy way is just staking your SOL below 33%. And you can just find that data, solanabeach.com, and then go to Solflare. Exodus is now available for staking, and get your SOL staked in some of the validators that are below that. So I think we're gonna kick a few folks off stage here and let our guests take over. So I think Matt, any final questions, any final comments? No?
Nope.
Perfect. Awesome. I appreciate y'all joining us. And let's get that going. And we have both folks up here. So I think we're Neil. Do you just want to give a quick introduction of who you are, talk about some of these incredible milestones that Audius has reached recently, and just give everyone a quick update of what's going on?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, I mean, first off, thank you all so much for having me, and thank you all so much to the whole Solana community for how much support and help you've given our team and our project along the way. So yeah, like, I think, kind of broad strokes for folks who don't know, Audius is a digital streaming service that connects fans directly with artists and exclusive new music. That direct bit is what we see the differentiator here being, and the way that Audius enables that is by being fully decentralized. So there's a network of node operators in our community, artists and fans that have come together to kind of operate this streaming service for the benefit of all the folks in that community, right? Today there are about 4.5 million people listening to content on Audius every month, and about 100,000 folks have uploaded content so far. Yeah, it's been a crazy year and a half since the product first launched publicly, and basically the content side of Audius runs on Solana is in the process of migrating over to Solana. So like, anytime you repost a piece of content, engage with a piece of content on Audius, that's actually hitting Solana, or will be hitting Solana in some cases for the parts that haven't finished migrating yet. So yeah, excited to be here and kind of talk through more of our experience building with Solana and building with this community. But I think it's going to be really cool to see kind of the variety of non-financial use cases that can now be enabled by like very scalable, very cheap transactions, right? It's viable for like anytime someone reposts a piece of content or favorites a piece of content, for that to actually trigger an on-chain transaction here, right? Whereas on ETH for us that was never viable. That previously was running on this thing called POA network, which was an Ethereum sidechain that started in 2018 or so. So yeah, that happy to kind of dive into questions. And I see a few questions in the chat here as well. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about building in this community. I think everyone has just been so supportive and helpful along the way.
Yeah, and we're super excited to have Audius joining the ecosystem. Y'all have created a powerhouse of a product that is really revolutionizing how folks stream. It's been really cool for me to see friends that I don't think are really into crypto have Audius app on their phone, or are starting to use that as the default way to stream their music. Especially because a lot of folks that are more into like EDM, they want to get those exclusives, or they want to get the songs that aren't available on Spotify. and they've just defaulted to Audius without even realizing that the back end, there's blockchain technology enabling a lot of this stuff. It's been really exciting to see the bridge of that between the Web 2 and the Web 3 world. So y'all are doing an amazing job. Let's touch on a few questions here. Let's take a few minutes. I think while I look up some questions, Toli, any thoughts or comments here? I know we've had Renil as a speaker on a few different things. He's also been on the podcast.
Can you tell us more about why it's so important for the metadata to also be decentralized? Why skipping that step would kind of not be a great result for you guys?
Yeah, totally. So, one of the really interesting things that's happened in other more centralized kind of music distribution tools is that the platform is kind of in this position to abuse its sort of ability to kind of surface some content rather than other content, things like this. So it's kind of a fairly well-known fact that like those curated playlists on Spotify, for example, it's like quite easy to get a piece of content placed in one of those if you pay the right person an amount of money. You can call that what you will. It is legal though, right? That's not technically payola in the US in the way that like paying to have something played on radio would be payola, but it's clearly unethical, and no one even knows that these things are happening, right? But more importantly, like, if you can't discover a piece of content, it effectively doesn't exist, right? So the bigger challenge actually, I think, is not kind of decentralizing the sort of storage and retrieval of the content itself. It's decentralizing your ability to discover, curate, and surface the right content. So that's actually where like we spent a lot of time sort of when building out Audius. There's this there are two node types native to our network. One is kind of for storing content and basically keeping it available on IPFS. The other node type is kind of storing or basically indexing metadata. So it's like reading transactions on chain and indexing them into kind of a more typical like REST style API that the client can go search for stuff or do things like that, right? And that discoverability, it's super important for that to be community owned and operated, because that's actually typically where kind of both censorship happens, but also this sort of much more sinister like surfacing of things that maybe shouldn't be or things like that.
Yeah, to me this is like the hardest part, right? Is this like actually discovering music, finding new artists, and I hate that Spotify does it for me instead of like a close friend of mine. Which what happened, in high school, I would like go to my buddy's house and he'd have like a bunch of awesome CDs that I haven't heard yet. And
For sure.
That was like a much better experience than Spotify telling me what to listen.
Yeah, the craziest thing now too is like in a digital music world, there's just so much more music, right? You don't have to have a factory produce, CDs and distribute them through a retail network. Anyone can, in their bedroom now, produce content that's kind of mastered at the level that, like, the biggest stars with teams at labels can produce, right? It's just I think music and audio more generally have been democratized much more quickly than like video production has, and that will come too as your smartphone reaches a level that like the professional DSLR camcorder can record at. But yeah, it's the most fascinating thing though is both like the laws governing how content is distributed and the rails on which content is distributed have not really changed in the last like 30 to 40 years, right? Like you actually can't upload content to Spotify yourself. You have to go through a third-party distributor. There's not really a great reason that should be the case, other than that's the way that it's worked for like forever. So
yeah, I'd love to see kind of that disrupted, You know, like all of the content stored in Arweave, metadata on Solana. We
Yeah.
get like persistent, permanent sharing of sound. It's just be pretty wild.
Yeah, I think that's the vision that we and a number of others, I think, around like working on these kind of creator economy tools are working towards, right? I think it'll take a village. It's not going to be just us, but I think the kind of having this rock solid foundation of very fast sort of consensus at the base layer unlocks a whole lot of other things, right? I mean, for us to do payments, for example, like we were not able to do that until we had you all to build with. So it's also been really cool to see kind of the tools and the ecosystem that a product like Audius needs to succeed has effectively like caught up with our needs at the time that we need them, but it's also opened up the door, I think, for like those of you in the audience, like anyone who wants to build a cool new kind of consumer facing scalable product, this is the only place to do it, right? There's just like you really don't have any other viable options, and this yeah, I'm very excited to see this side of the Solana ecosystem continue to grow. Yeah, I know there are a lot of super cool projects cooking up. I don't want to, reveal things that founders and whatnot haven't revealed themselves, but I'm very, very excited to see all the great things happening in social on Solana in the next few months.
Same. Yeah, really excited as well.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us, Neil. I would love if you just want to hang up on stage. Actually, we have so many questions coming in, but I want to give a chance for some of these other folks to go ahead. So we're gonna let Alpha Ray give a quick talk, and then we're gonna have another guest speaker up, and then let's just all huddle and try to knock out some of these questions. Like I said, for everyone in the audience, the agenda set about an hour. We're likely going to go over. We've been well over 500 people strong for about 40 minutes now. So as long as you want to hang out with us and hear us talk, we're happy to provide some information here. So Alpha Ray, did we get the mic working?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Wonderful. We can, yeah. Do you want to just give an introduction of who you are and what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. I'm Alpha Ray. I'm the head of Raydium. And basically what Raydium is, it's a AMM at its heart, but it's built over a limit order book. So what this means is that all the liquidity that users provide into our liquidity pools will be turned into limit orders on Serum's order book. This has two major benefits for users. The first one being that everyone across Serum can basically take orders from this and trade against the liquidity that we provided, and two, that they also get a trading interface, a limit order book interface. So at this point, we're actually one of the largest liquidity providers on Serum. We have $360 million locked up in Raydium, and we're doing about $30 million of volume a day.
Hey, Alpha Ray, real quick. Are you able to turn the volume up a little bit? We're getting some comments that it's hard to hear you.
Hi, is this better?
A little bit better. You can.
I'm not sure how to turn the volume on my mic up. Let me see.
Oh, that sounded a little bit better. Or you can just kind of yell. Just you're so excited, just kind of yell into the whole thing. No, that's better.
Does this work?
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Cool. So, all right. So basically, Raydium, we launched at the end of February. It's been less than 50 days now, actually, and we're moving pretty quickly. From the time we launched to now, we've actually updated our UI once already. We've changed over from Serum Dex v2 to v3 with a pretty big migration on our pools. We've launched Fusion pools. We now support 6 wallets, including Phantom. And we're starting up a program called the Accelerator. So to dive into a few of these, basically the fusion pools were our first big update. Fusion pools are basically yield farming pools where we have a partner token, and the partner token also distributes some of their tokens to the community. This way, the community can get behind a pool or like a project that they really like, help them provide some liquidity, and in exchange, they can earn some of the partner tokens as well to really boost their yields and to just have more of the tokens to get behind. And then outside of fusion pools, we've also got the accelerator program, which is coming up. The accelerator program is actually really exciting. It's where we will help incubate new projects, and we'll really help them find financing and make markets for them on top of Raydium and Serum. So the way that it works is that the new project might want to launch, and they might be a little bit short of capital at the beginning. So we want to basically help them create pools where they can set a set price for their tokens, and the community can come in and just buy up these tokens. These pools are they've been pretty hot recently. So what we're doing is that we want to give everybody a chance to get in on these. And the way we give everyone a chance is that everyone has a maximum allocation and that they can put into a pool. And after a pool can be oversubscribed, by the way. So everyone puts in as much as they like, and then after the time limit of the pool is up, we see how many tokens are in there and how much people subscribe, and we give everyone a weighted average of what's in there. This way, everyone can get a piece, and they get their extra tokens returned to them. So we have about 3 to 4 projects signed up for the accelerator already, and they should be coming out at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. So that's a pretty exciting thing for us. And we've also kicked off a regional ambassador program called the Radiator program, where where people who really like to use Raydium can help us out around the world by doing some community management, doing some translations, or just really supporting our brand across the world. Aside from that, we have, obviously, we have the sushi partnership coming up as well. We passed that proposal a couple weeks ago, and we're just working with the sushi team to build a really nice UI for both of us and to get that launched really quickly. In the future, we're also looking at just really building out the Solana ecosystem. Right now, we've identified that for everyone to really have a lot of fun on the ecosystem, we need a lot of projects here, and that, a lot of projects here to build a lot of great communities, and for everyone to be able to do what they like on the ecosystem, right? So that's basically our thinking behind the accelerator program and the fusion pools.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Alfred. There's been a lot of exciting things happening in the Raydium ecosystem over the past couple of weeks, and the project is really just getting started. I think one thing I've been seeing a lot of is the sushi swap integration. Is there anything else that you wanted to add on to that? I know we have a few questions that after Mango Market speaks we're going to cover, but is there any additional information you can provide around the sushi swap integration?
So basically, trying to think what I can tell and what I can't tell. Well, Sushi Swap is basically getting a makeover right now, and we're taking part of that. So they're redoing a lot of their pages, a lot of the UI to look more modern and to look a lot sleeker, make it easier to use. Basically, we're cooperating with them on the new UI, and we'll have a new page on the Sushi Swap website for Raydium pools. These pools, basically, after we have them built and running, they'll be very much like the fusion pools, where users can deposit tokens into liquidity pools, get LP tokens, and then farm both sushi and Ray on these pools.
Awesome. Yeah, we're all really excited for that. So we'll keep an eye out. There were a few questions, how folks could get involved in your ambassador program and things of that nature. So if you just want to drop some of the links there in the chat section, I think we can probably get you a few signups there. And then just hang out on stage. We're going to be answering a few more community questions in like 15 minutes. So thanks for the time, man.
Awesome. Yep.
And up next,
No
we
worries.
have
Thank you,
Maximilian. Oh, and up next we have Maximilian from Mango Markets. Mango Markets was one of the winners from the Solana DeFi Hackathon. Y'all may have seen their recent initial cap offering, and they've just been doing a lot of really exciting things. So do you just want to give a quick breakdown of who you are and everything you're working on, Maximilian?
Yeah. For those who don't know yet what Mango is about, we're basically trying to marry the liquidity and usability of centralized finance with the innovative nature of the open source DeFi community. For us, the key ingredients there really are low latency, low transaction cost, and full decentralization. And I mean, that was our major reason why we ended up on Solana. We're super happy to be part of the larger family. Last week, we just published a new version of our white paper, or light paper, we call it so far. It's a draft, but we hope this gives more context and what we're trying to build and how we're planning to include the community in the governance of the Mango DAO. I want to give a big shout out to the great open source developers who are helping to build Mango Markets. This is just really incredible. We've seen so much feedback in the last days on the light paper, and people are jumping in to build out all those parts. Yeah, we're really excited, and even the ones who joined us before, we just started testing some new features this week. There's a new version of the UI. It's a complete rewrite from what Bartosz initially wrote for the Serum decks, and I think there are still a lot of rough edges on this rewrite, but we're hoping people can give good feedback and help improve it. We also improved the security for our users by adding liquidation alerts. So they came really handy for me, at least, and in the recent market movements. And I think everyone has been following the charts lately. It's kind of crazy what's going on. So yeah, if you were caught up short, you could have had text sent to you. You know, it's a new member of the community who built it, so it's I think it's really challenging to bring in new people, and I hope this was a good experiment. Lastly, one more thing, we just finished a new liquidation method, which allows for the complete removal of the borrow limits. So this doesn't mean we finished testing. Please be careful, but it's a huge step on our process of creating the best margin trading platform in DeFi. And we hope this will drive usage in the future. Yeah, really excited to hear what people think and answer more questions.
Amazing. Yeah, we're really excited to have you with us, man. I think real quick, we're going to be answering some of the community questions in just a few minutes. If you jump into the questions tab, you can either submit your own question or you can upvote questions. So I currently have all the questions. There's like 100 in there that are sorted by upvotes. And so if you really like a question, make sure to upvote it. I'll be covering the top couple. And so, yeah, I think real quick on this from Maximilian. So you were one of the winners of the Solana DeFi Hackathon. Did you just want to kind of take a few moments to talk about your experience running through this and any tips or suggestions you have for folks that may participate in future Solana hackathons?
Yeah, I think it's a great launchpad, right? We weren't really known in the community before we started building Mango Markets, and also while we're building it, it was like there was not a lot of attention on us. But the moment we reached out to you and we're like, hey, this is our submission, like, do you like it? And that instantly gave us a lot of visibility. And with that came a really grateful community, you know, people who jump in there, test out what we're building and give us tons of feedback. And I certainly think that helps to shape products to be better than just average. So we're really, 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 really grateful for that.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. I think that's great advice. So yeah. And if folks have more questions about Mango Markets or want to get in touch, where's the best place for them to go?
Discord. I mean, a lot of the stuff is just running really, really quick. And so I think if there's anything written down, it's probably a message on Discord in one of the public channels, and that's kind of the status quo. And then second source of truth is probably the source code. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. If you want to drop links to both those
Source
areas,
code is always the source of truth, right?
Always.
yeah. So if you want to drop the links to the Mango Discord there, I think that would be a great place to send folks. I think Renil as well. If you want to drop the links for where folks can find out more information or get in touch, drop that in the chat section. And let's just take a few moments here to answer some of these top questions. This one's really winning here, so we're gonna jump this one up. Toli, maybe this one's best for you. Fees on Solana are currently very low.
Yeah, so there's when we kind of set the base fee to be what we estimated the costs of the bandwidth and the hardware to process that transaction. So as the price of the token goes up, that obviously dislodges itself from the actual base cost of the hardware. A lot of folks in the community are talking about creating a governance proposal where we can adjust those fees down to reflect the price periodically. So maybe once every, like a few months, we can retrigger that base level fee. The network itself has mechanisms to prevent spam level attacks where if the capacity drops by 50%, the fees double. So that really only occurs during somebody really trying to spam the network. And while it increases the rate for users, because the spammer is eating up 50% of the capacity and all of a sudden that rate doubles for them, it kind of becomes cost prohibitive for them, but doesn't typically cost that much for everyone else. Having your trades, cost 2 to the 10 to the minus $5 instead of 1 to the 10 to the minus $5 isn't going to impact a lot of market makers, but it'll really prevent somebody just slamming the system. So it'll take some time, but for now, things are cheap enough to where no one's really complaining, so we have some time to do it.
Awesome, thanks, Anatoly. Here's one for you, Renil. It says, where are the audio files hosted? Are centralized servers? Do you just want to take a moment to kind of talk about the storage system behind Audius?
Yeah. So, to answer the latter part first, no centralized servers are used there. There's a network of node operators in Audius here. I'll drop the link to where you can look at it after I finish answering. But basically, they're node operators in our community that host content and then index metadata. Those are two different types of nodes. But basically, those content hosting nodes are pinning content on IPFS and keeping it available there, and responsible for keeping that replicated. So there are 3 copies of every piece of content on the network, and if one of those nodes or copies disappears or loses availability, the network will rebalance and elect a new node into the replica set for that artist or that piece of content. So yeah, that's actually where kind of the token comes in. Folks are staking the Audius token to run these nodes.
Awesome, thanks, Renil. Here's a good one. This one, Alpha Maximilian and probably Toli. What's the best way to explain how 200-700% APR is even possible in DeFi or LPs to friends who are not currently involved in the crypto space? This is one we get all of the time.
So it's not guaranteed, right? People kind of look at it for a year's worth of APR when that APR is only really true for the moment. And it's really an incentivization mechanism to get folks to move more liquidity to the platform. As that liquidity gets moved to the platform, that APR drops and you kind of balance out somewhere based on the tokenomics of that thing. So you can look at it as, the things that are happening in the moment, may seem large, and that kind of works as napalm for growth for a project, but at the end of the day, when they kind of get to this tail end, they need to have established some product market fit to where that liquidity has use to traders in some way, and you're starting to get rewards that are closer to, you know, risk-free rates, right? Like risk-adjusted returns for liquidity providers become more real. So that's kind of an interesting challenge how to structure that for a lot of founders. Maximilian, I'm sure you have your own opinions on this too. Love to hear them.
Yeah, I think there's always the question, how do you measure annual returns? But if the project is not 1 year old, it's kind of difficult to say what it is, right? And so there's some extrapolation happening clearly. In general, I think those numbers are also a reflection of how excited the space is, and also how different it is from traditional finance, because there are not these, I would say, blanket guaranteed annual rates, right? There's something very dynamic, and the departure of it being dynamic means it can be higher or lower. But yeah, it's definitely great to see that it can be that much higher. I was surprised the first time I saw those as well, and I was like, oh, what is this?
There's no free lunch there. I think what is really interesting to me about DeFi is that traditional finance, they, you know, the best they can do is give you like cash back or small discounts to incentivize you to move over. But in DeFi, you get effectively a portion of the protocol. So those early adopters, you know, some of them are just hunting yields, but some of them actually like that particular project, and they get a portion of it, and they get to reinvest that back in the community. So it's kind of a, you know, one of the folks I had on my podcast, Gunny from Hero, he described it as social capitalism, like community-based capitalism. We're building communities that have some market forces around them to kind of, for that community to make money, but it's really like, you know, our digital kibbutzes, like we're all come together. This is where we, you know, we farm our yams or whatever, and we try to make it a better place. So it's kind of amazing. I don't know. It's pretty wild.
Awesome. Alfred, any comments there before we move on to another question? No? Man, a few words. I can appreciate that.
No, I'm good.
Perfect. Awesome. Let's knock
I'll
out.
just reply some questions in the chat.
No, you're all good. Byron Neal. Let's knock out one more question because we're just about at time here, and let's see what we got. I saw a good one earlier. It might have already got answered. It was asking totally about lowering the hardware requirements for running a validator. Any comments there? Let me see if I can find it. Here we go.
So we make a bunch of improvements to the protocol, so those kind of get lowered. But as the network gets more usage, we'll need more hardware because that's how we're solving it. And by usage, I mean the validator set grows, or there's way more, you know, central limit order book orders. It doesn't really matter to us which application is growing, whether it's the censorship resistant application, consensus itself, or the market that's running alongside of it, Serum, or, you know, Raydium or anything like that. And it's more important for us to have the hardware to support those applications because that's just organized sand. At the end of the day, it's something that gets cheaper every 2 years. So the foundation and the community has like kind of enough resources to support increasing the capacity for folks if they need it, when we need it. Like when the use case kind of like, you know, if Audius goes from 4 million users to 100 million, we don't want to be stopped by validator hardware requirements. It's just no one's going to think about the hardware requirements there. We'll just do it. And that's kind of like how our community operates and how we like to think about it. You know, at the end of the day, it's just organized sand. and it's something that's going to be cheaper, if not free 2 years from now.
Perfect. I think with that, we're just about at time. Maximilian, Alfred, any last comments? Anywhere you want to send folks to, or anything people should check out right now?
Oh no, yeah, I'm really grateful for chatting with you guys and being here. So I hope we can continue this discussion in the future. I always love to hear Anatoly answer those questions about like decentralization and why Solana is such a big difference to ETH 2.0. I was reading some of the answers in chat, and it's just amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thanks a ton for joining us. And we're gonna just wrap up now into some closing statements. So thanks for joining us, Maximilian. And thank you, Alfred. I guess any last comments, bro?
No, I was answering some questions in the chat just now. So
Perfect.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And so just wrapping up here. Alatina, if folks want to get more involved in the Solana ecosystem, Solana community, where are the best places for them to go?
Well, the first place is definitely to check out the global group, because it's the main community in Telegram where all the people hang out from different countries, and you can definitely find a soulmate there. If there is a regional community, definitely check it out too. We have communities in 15 regions, so that's something that is most likely you have in your regions. And if you want to contribute to Solana ecosystem, there is also, as I mentioned earlier, a quite active community of Solana ambassadors where people share their life stories, their experiences, and it's really overpowering to join this community, and you might find the experience in there very attractive. So definitely check out solana.com/collective. I've linked it in some of the questions, but though the link is easy. So that probably would be the first 3 steps.
Amazing. Thank you, Alatina. And I think just wrapping things up here, Toli, any last comments, words of wisdom for everyone in the audience?
So I think kind of the core part and the hardest part in the space is always finding like founders that have vision, that kind of believe in crypto and believe and have these, belief that they can build an application that can get to 100 million users, 1 billion users, like the folks like Raydium, like Alpha Ray, like Maximilian, they truly believe that we can scale this thing. We can bring these awesome, amazing products that are decentralized and cheap and censorship resistant to the entire world. So if you're one of those people, like if you're a builder, like just reach out. Like this is the hardest thing in this space, is to find those folks, the visionaries. Our job is relatively easy. It's just to build, to do good engineering, to do, to work. So it's the founders that are kind of take on the biggest risks and do the hardest part of it.
Perfect. Yeah. And where would you say are the best sections or areas for folks interested in pursuing that more to visit out? Should they go to the docs, or do they go to the grants page, Discord?
Yeah. So docs to get started, Discord to get help, grants to kind of reach out and make sure you get a look from like the foundation and from the community.
Perfect. Yeah. And I'll drop the links here in just a moment. Docs link's already in there, and then we'll drop the Discord link, which is just solana.com/Discord. And I think with that, we're just about over time. We had well over 500 people hanging out with us this entire time. So I appreciate y'all taking the time to hang out with us and learn a little bit more. This was kind of our first town hall, and it was really just a test to see how it went. And folks seem to like it. We'll be sending out a follow-up survey just to learn about how we can improve this, make this a little more interactive, and help answer any additional questions we weren't able to get to during the call. And I think with that, we're just about done. So I really appreciate everyone spending the time with us. Totally, thank you for taking the time to join us and speak. And Aleftina as well, thank you for taking the time to join and speak. I feel left out because my last name's not Yankovenko, but I think we're in good shape. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us, and everyone have a great evening, day, whatever it may be. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Nice day.
And I am ending it now. So if you're still in here, you're going to get kicked out. Have a good one, everyone. I want to.